Next, a local mother and son admit to a bizarre case of arson for profit. Now, part of the plan involved getting a 14-year-old to do their dirty work for them. We'll have the story coming up next.
This event is incredible. I wasn't thinking about doing something like this.
A community comes together. The large amount of funds raised tonight to help victims of that J Street fire.
If a gay couple was to come in, like say they wanted us to provide them pizzas for a wedding, we would have to say no.
A show of support for Indiana's controversial new law from one pizza parlor, but not from New York State, as the SUNY system responds to Governor Cuomo's ban on non-essential travel to Indiana.
Stop it with your mouth. Okay. Stop it with your, for what, sir? For what, sir? Stop it with that bull.
Caught on camera, the move from the NYPD after one of their own was recorded berating an Uber driver. And wait till you hear why he pulled that driver over. CBS 6 News at 11 starts right now.
This is CBS 6 News.
Good evening, I'm Greg Floyd. We start with a story about new beginnings. Nearly a month after a devastating fire right across from Schenectady City Hall, the businesses that were affected are getting some help from downtown leaders and other local business people. A fundraising effort for the next 10 days got started tonight. Craig Smith is on J Street with more on how it works, and a pretty good start tonight, right, Craig?
Yeah, it looks great so far. The Downtown Schenectady Improvement Corporation put this together. When those folks see the remains of the buildings behind me, they still see a future for the people whose livelihoods were on this block. They call it taking care of business. Take a venue like Key Hall at Proctor's, get Mazone Hospitality to cater it, and the folks at Price Chopper to put up a nice incentive for people to pay the $25 admission.
Very much like Jane and Neil Golub, who recognize and are going to match up to $25,000. This is a very caring, giving community, and when people are down, people step up.
Anissa Wahid owns a restaurant. She remembers the noise and thinking it was the garbage pickup.
Until we looked out the window and saw this massive fire. It was really, really, really huge.
The fire was ruled accidental. It killed 4 people and shut down 8 businesses. Some are still closed, but Anissa Wahid reopened last week.
I feel really lucky and blessed that at least we're back in, and we just have to work a little bit harder to recoup what we lost. But this event is incredible.
It was a 3-hour gathering, but they'll be accepting donations through April 10th.
They can pledge online, they can drop off donations at our office at 143 State Street, or they can mail it to our office as well.
Benjamin Morales would appreciate it. He lost his jewelry shop, everything gone. He hopes to start over, and tonight will help.
Thank you, everybody. A big community is connected. Thank you so much.
The folks at DSIC say they raised $19,000 tonight, and thanks to the Golubs, you can double that. And by the time April 10th comes, we'll see where they are then. Looks like a good idea. Live in Schenectady, Craig Smith, CBS 6 News.
Sure does. Thank you very much, Craig. New tonight, school districts are moving forward with their budget strategies now that a state budget is in place. In Schenectady tonight, the Board of Education met to work on the school budget. Schenectady is getting an additional $5.1 million in state aid. That is an increase of just over 5%, but that's lower than the average statewide increase. School officials say it means for the first time in several years, staff and programs won't be cut, but is it enough?
Certainly don't feel like the money that we received will do enough to help our students get to the place they need to be. The budget that the superintendent is currently proposing, is trying to address a lot of the needs of our students, but there's not enough money there to really give our students what they want.
There remains plenty of controversy over education reforms in the state budget. There is an overhaul of the teacher evaluation system that is not sitting well with teacher unions. Governor Cuomo says the education reform will be one of his greatest legacies. The legislature did not approve the budget on time. It was about 3 hours late. Well, state lawmakers did stay up pretty late last night, so apparently they need a bit of a break right now. Most out-of-town lawmakers, they're probably already home by now. They are not going to return to the Capitol anytime soon. They don't return for 20 days. Let's go old school here. I got my calendar with me. Check it out. No session the rest of this week. This weekend is Passover and Easter, so that makes sense. No session there. Most businesses don't shut down, though, next week, but the legislature does. No session at all here all next week. And just for good measure, no session this week, the week after either. So that's 2 straight weeks, no session. All that time away from the Capitol. You can't just jump right back in. So they are taking off the Monday after that, too. This Monday right here, no session either. They do finally return right here, the 21st. They're here for 3 days this week, and then 3 days the following week, that week right there. So that's it for the rest of April. Just 6 days of work at the Capitol for the rest of this month of April. Pretty fancy right here. All right, I want to turn right now to the weather. Tomorrow will bring us something we haven't seen in months, but it won't last too long. Craig Adams is in for Steve tonight. He's doing a little science of his own. He's got the details. Greg?
One quick question, Greg. Can we get on that schedule by any chance here?
Wouldn't you love it?
Yeah, wouldn't we? Well, I'll tell you, we have certainly got something to look forward to tomorrow in terms of our weather, something we have not had in a long time. It's clear now in Albany, 33. We'll get down to about 27, and look where we're going to go up to tomorrow, 55 degrees. Boy, I'll tell you, it has been a long time coming since we've seen that returning to Albany. Right now, there's the latest temperatures, 30 in Saratoga Springs. It's 27 down the road in Hudson. We're looking at, as we said, relatively clear conditions now. Note the clouds off to our west, leading edge of a warm front that is going to change our temperatures for the better. And it's about time. We're going up to 55 degrees tomorrow. It'll be rather breezy. Question is, how long will those nice, mild, spring-like temperatures stick around before things kind of feel sort of wintry again? And we're also going to put March in perspective. There's a rather remarkable thing to see about how this past March was, and we'll show you that coming up in a few minutes. Greg?
All right. Thank you very much, Greg. The SUNY system reacting to Governor Cuomo's ban on all non-essential state employee travel to Indiana because of that state's new and controversial religious freedom bill. Many think that bill allows businesses to discriminate against gay people. The travel ban means that man right there, UAlbany's Will Brown and other SUNY D1 coaches who typically go to the Final Four, will be staying home since they are all state employees. The Final Four is this weekend in Indianapolis. The SUNY Chancellor, Nancy Zimpher, sent this statement today saying, in part, as the public university system of New York State, SUNY supports all measures to combat discrimination. I commend Governor Cuomo on taking this important stand on behalf of all New Yorkers. The Capital Region Chapter Director of the New York Civil Liberties Union agrees.
We are very happy that the governor is taking a stand for the LGBT community with this issue, and so we support his efforts to send a message to Indiana that this is the wrong way to go about protecting religious liberty.
The governor's office says the ban on publicly funded travel will continue as long as the religious freedom law in Indiana remains in effect. And meantime, a small-town pizzeria owner in Indiana says she supports the law as is, and she is not afraid to let others know that.
We're not discriminating against anyone. It's just that's our belief. And everybody has the right to believe anything.
She says she won't cater a gay wedding, for instance. Opponents say the bill's language has strayed from the federal law and that its true intent is to allow discrimination against gay people. Well, new tonight, a Schodack woman accused of trying to poison her husband will have to wait another month to face a judge. Our CBS 6 cameras were there as Lisa Delarty made a very brief appearance in Schodack Justice Court tonight just to have her court date pushed back. Investigators say Delarty poured an unknown substance into her husband's drink in an attempt to make him sick. State police say she did it 6 different times. 18 years in state prison. That's the sentence handed down today to a Lake George man who shot his ex-wife's boyfriend in a Walmart parking lot in Queensbury. Raymond White said in court he didn't remember shooting Robert Smith last June and that he wasn't in the right state of mind. Smith, by the way, did survive that shooting. Also new tonight, a mother and son have been convicted of hiring a teenager to set a Schenectady rental property on fire last May so they could collect the insurance money. Sardawadi Bidasi and her son Ramal Ramgadu are each facing a minimum 2 years in prison. They'll be sentenced next month. Investigators say the mother, the owner of the vacant Linden Street home, told her son to hire a then 14-year-old. That teen was also charged, but his case was handled in family court, and his name has not been released because of his age. Two former UAlbany students have filed suit now against the university following an investigation into the alcohol overdose death of another student. Zachary Galis and Keith Rosengarten claim the investigation into the death of student Trevor Duffy violated their rights. Duffy died after a night of heavy drinking at an off-campus home in November. The two students want to return to college. They were among the 24 sanctioned by the university. The university's investigation concluded that Duffy's death was the result of hazing. No one has been arrested. Iran nuclear talks have headed into overtime as lawmakers prepare a new round of sanctions.
It's the president who's putting politics above America's best interest.
Still to come, why some lawmakers are disagreeing with President Obama's negotiation strategy.
We're standing on dry grass, and we should be standing in 5 feet of snow.
Desperate measures called for in California. What's become desperate times, how the state's governor plans to get the state out of a record drought.
Looking to catch a little spring fever? You're going to catch it tomorrow. We'll show you how warm the temperatures are going to top off and see if we can get even warmer for Friday. We'll show you the numbers when we come back.
CBS 6 News, the Weather Authority.
A lot of sunshine in the sky today, and temperatures, while they were somewhat below normal, still not a bad day at all. Watching the sun go down this evening was pretty nice, too. Here's a view looking at it setting over the Albany skyline from Rensselaer. And again, a beautiful evening. One where you could have also seen the moon coming up tonight as well. Check out this picture that was sent into my Craig Adams CBS 6 Facebook page by Paul Wise. And the moon coming up, it's not quite full yet, but getting there. Another 3 days on the 4th, it will be the full moon. And another shot that I thought was rather captivating this morning, this one set in to me by Adirondack Photography. It's the ice going out at Lake George, also another sure sign that spring is indeed close at hand. Check this out. 1st March, now that we're into April, we can put March into the record books, and it was our first March in over 70 years' time without a 50-degree day. We have to go all the way back to 1941 to have that happen. So a rather rare feat indeed. So that means 215, and we really are just about 100% guaranteed of having this 50-degree plus day tomorrow. It'll slide right into this slot here as our 3rd latest occurrence of having a 50-degree day in Albany. As you can see, April 3rd and April 5th, respectively, were the latest days for that to occur. So it looks like April 2nd is going to be where 2015 ends up. We were 47 today, and we're projecting 55 tomorrow and could be as high as 58 on Friday before, look what happens heading into Easter weekend. Looks like it's going to be a chilly Easter. In fact, there may be upper 30s for highs in areas across the region as well. So yeah, it's not going to be that long-lasting, at least in terms of the spring fever that we will catch tomorrow. Here's the warm front. The leading edge of that milder air will be flowing in here tomorrow. We'll get some clouds overnight as the front pushes off to the north. Probably the only place that would run the risk of a snow shower would be up over the Adirondacks very late tonight. Lows will be in the lower 20s across the North Country and mid and upper 20s around the Capital District over through the Berkshires and southern Vermont. Now, tomorrow's the day that we'll enjoy uniform 50-degree plus temperatures. 55 in Clifton Park and Saratoga. Granville gets up into the low 50s. We're looking at temperatures pretty much even into the Adirondacks hitting that 50-degree mark, with Indian Lake checking in at 50 degrees, Glenville 55, and Clifton Park also in the mid-50s tomorrow. Here's a look at the clouds and precipitation. Through the midnight hour, pretty clear. Late tonight, we'll start seeing some of those clouds drift on through. And then very early tomorrow, a passing snow shower over the Adirondacks. Sun starts mixing with the clouds as we work through the morning. The afternoon should be pretty pleasant with that brisk southerly wind pushing those temperatures up. Tomorrow night, showers start overspreading the area out ahead of another front. And so we'll have some showers in and out for the nighttime period. Friday morning, a few early showers, and then we get a lull. Still dealing with some leftover clouds, some breaks of sun, and then the rain comes right back in Friday night out ahead of a wave of low pressure that'll be tracking close to us. And before the rain is done, it could get cold enough for a change over to snow showers come late Friday night into early Saturday. And then that's when those temperatures turn kind of chilly for the Easter weekend. As we said, lower 40s, maybe even upper 30s for highs Into next week, slow moderation at temperatures, and the weather pattern somewhat unsettled with additional weather systems affecting us. So I'd say Thursday and into the daytime Friday, looking pretty good for us for catching a little spring fever, Greg.
I'd say you're right. Thank you very much, Craig. California's snowpack has hit a record low, and it's only adding to the state's water crisis as the region enters the 4th year of a devastating and historic drought. The governor, Jerry Brown, issued an executive order today that requires cities across California to take unprecedented action to conserve and ration water. Governor Brown says the new mandatory restrictions could save more than 488 billion gallons of water over the next 9 months. Well, did you get pranked today?
7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns pitted against the single fighting machine of the invaders from Mars.
Orson Welles' War of the Worlds might be the most famous April Fool's Day prank. Ahead, what may have sparked the unofficial holiday. Secretary of State John Kerry pushed past a Tuesday deadline and decided to go into overtime in talks with Iran about its nuclear program. There are no signs of stopping right now. The sticking points include how much nuclear fuel Iran will be allowed to produce in the future and how to verify that that fuel is for peaceful purposes only. Negotiators also need to decide when economic sanctions are to be lifted.
The time has come for the Iranian negotiators to begin to make the kinds of serious commitments that the international community, including the United States, will insist upon.
President Obama insists the U.S. is prepared to walk away from the negotiations if Iran won't budge. He says no deal is better than a bad deal, but not everyone in Washington is convinced. Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton is among a group of lawmakers who do not want sanctions against Iran lifted. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez heads to federal court tomorrow after being indicted by a federal grand jury on corruption charges. Menendez is accused of accepting nearly $1 million in unreported gifts and campaign contributions from a Florida eye doctor, a longtime friend and political donor. Well, the 14-count indictment says those gifts included flights on private and commercial jets, access to villas and resorts in the Caribbean, also hotels, expensive meals, golf outings, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in contributions. In return, Menendez allegedly advocated for his friend.
I don't care what you have to say.
Okay.
Do you understand that? How long have you been in this country?
Almost 2 years.
Almost how long?
2 years.
2 years. I got news for you, and use this lesson. Remember this in the future. Don't ever do that again.
Okay.
An internal probe is now underway of an apparent road rage incident involving a driver for the Uber ride-hailing service and an NYPD detective. You see it right there. The cop pulled over the driver for honking at him. In a statement to CBS, the NYPD said in part, "We referred the matter to the NYPD Internal Affairs," and noted that the detective was on duty at the time of the incident. Duke officials say they're trying to find out who hung a noose outside of a building that houses several offices, including those focused on diversity. They say that rope tied into a noose was found at about 2 o'clock this morning. Students held a community forum tonight after a day of marching in protest of that act. Duke's Vice President for Student Affairs said in an email, quote, "To whomever committed this hateful and stupid act, I just want to say that if your intent was to create fear, it will actually have the opposite effect." Well, it is April Fool's Day, but where did it come from? In ancient cultures, New Year's Day was celebrated on April 1st, but in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII moved the holiday to January 1st. Apparently not everyone got the message. Those that continued to celebrate on April 1st, they were called April Fools. April Fool's Day has also been linked to the vernal equinox and the start of spring. That's when the ancient Romans had their festival of Hilaria. Some of the biggest April Fool's Day pranks are courtesy of corporations and the media. In 1940, a press release from the Franklin Institute, a science museum in Philadelphia, declared the world would end the following day. Not that funny, really. In 1957, the BBC falsely reported a bumper crop of spaghetti trees in Switzerland. That one's pretty good. And in 1998, Burger King announced the left-handed Whopper, specifically designed for the 32 million left-handed Americans. I'm sure lefties enjoyed that one, at least for a while. All right, another day, another Section 2 product stars at a Major League spring training game, and we've got the video proof of that. Also, find out why Goodland Jr. Andrew Platek, who averaged over 23 points per game last season, has played his last game for the Dutchman. Doug has sports coming up next.
CBS 6 Sports with Doug Sherman.
Welcome back, everybody. By April 19th, the American Hockey League season will be over, and both the Albany Devils and Adirondack Flames are hoping to still have some games to play at that point in the Calder Cup playoffs. However, both took the ice tonight on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. The Devils hosting the Manchester Monarchs, who boast the AHL's best record. On the giveaway, Matt Laurito's power play goal got Albany on the board first. However, it was all downhill from there. Scott Clemenson and his defense turned the puck over, which allowed Manchester to score the game-winning goal. Just another tough blow to Albany's postseason chances. As for the Flames, they had a tough go tonight as well, deep in the heart of Texas. Well, life is all about seizing opportunities. Schenectady's J.P. Sportman has been doing that as well as anyone. Oakland's 27th round draft pick in 2014, who spent last season playing Class A ball, has been repeatedly given opportunities this spring to play Cactus League games with the big league club. Last Monday against the Cleveland Indians, Sportman crushed a 2-run homer. And today in Mesa, Arizona, against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, number 93 in green went deep again. So, in limited opportunities this spring, Sportman is a combined 3 for 5 with a double and 2 home runs for Oakland. Not bad for a 23-year-old LaSalle grad who, a year ago at this time, was a Central Connecticut State Blue Devil. Both Sportman and Shenandoah grad Brandon Cogswell, last year's 7th-round pick, who also has been receiving similar chances to play games with the A's this spring, won't break camp later this week with the big club, but both expect to begin the regular season either in High A or in Class AA. Their former South Troy teammate, Dave Roseboom out of LaSalle, was the Mets' 17th round draft pick in 2014. After not allowing a run all spring, the left-hander has been assigned to New York's full-season Class A affiliate in Georgia, the Savannah Sand Gnats. Last summer at Low A Kingsport, Roseboom posted a 1.59 ERA. The parent Mets played their final Grapefruit League game of the spring in Port St. Lucie today. Minor league shortstop Matt Reynolds was the hitting star for New York. He went 2 for 2 with a pair of RBI base hits. That drew the Mets within a run in the 9th. However, the Mets would fall short 5-4. Meanwhile, the Yankees managed only 4 hits in this afternoon's loss. The Bombers will break camp on Friday. And a split squad game between the Red Sox and the Twins today. Spa Catholic grad Tim Stauffer pitched a clean inning of relief for the Twins. He is a legit 6'5", and the likes of Michigan Wolverines head coach John Beilein are now taking notice of Shenandoah point guard Kevin Herter. Beilein has begun to recruit Herter in the wake of Shen's recent New York State championship. And even though the Wolverines have yet to officially offer a scholarship yet, doors to bigger programs continue to open for Herter thanks to his ability to handle the ball, knock down shots, and drive the lane against bigger opponents. In recent days and weeks, he has gotten firm scholarship offers from the likes of Penn State, George Washington, and Davidson, with more suitors really beginning to line up. Andrew Platek's Guilderland career is over. The 6'4" shooting ace will enroll next fall at Northfield Mount Hermon, a prep school in Massachusetts that won a national championship in 2013. This past season, he averaged 23.5 points per game at Guilderland. He will reclassify and repeat his junior year at Northfield Mount Hermon. New Albany, Fairfield, and Yale already have offers on the table, but first, Platek heads to prep school. A big-time college lacrosse showdown scheduled tomorrow with 9th-ranked UAlbany paying a visit to number 2 Syracuse. The Great Danes worked out today in preparation for tomorrow's trip to the Dome. UAlbany's averaging more than 18 goals a game, tops in the country. Syracuse 4th in scoring, and that means the latest upstate showdown is going to be fun to watch tomorrow night. And finally, women's lacrosse today. 19th-ranked UAlbany runs its record to 8-4, and Siena improves to 6-5. With a 15-14 win over Manhattan.
They're playing these outdoor sports. It's great, despite whatever cold might be out there.
It is freezing still, but good for them.
And LaSalle fans have to get their Sand Gnats hats, I guess, huh?
Savannah Sand Gnats, I love it.
Love that team. All right, that's it for us for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Closed captioning sponsored by Albany Medical Center. Every day, saving lives and giving people hope.